Hey everybody, Brenda Director here, with a deck profile for, fittingly enough, Brenda Despia. So this is currently an unfinished build. I've got most of everything that I need, but some things, gotta get, which I'll point out as we go through the video. So yeah, starting off with the main deck, got standard 3 Aluber. So obviously Aluber is one of your best starters in the deck. Get a branded spell on special or normal summon, and if I remember correctly, yeah, okay, it negates a monster's effect and special summons itself if a fusion summoned monster is destroyed. Or is it destroyed or just... it's destroyed or leaves the field because of the card effect. So yeah, overall, one of the best stars in the deck, honestly. Next up, I play one Spring Kit. Sometimes it's just nice to, if you ever want to go for a Lubellian play instead of an Albion play, say you don't have access to your scythe for whatever reason, either you don't have it on field for a scythe lock, or it's not in the deck, you can use Spring Kit for Rebellion. Either pitch it as cost, or you can use it as material, and then you can bring it back on field and get the search for a branded spell. So basically a discount Aluber, honestly. And then 2 branded Tragedy. Tragedy, obviously, when you use it for cost, it searches you out a Despia monster from your deck. And then you can set a branded spell or trap by banishing it from the graveyard. So use it. You can only use, it's so 1 turn. You can use Tragedy as cost to get the search for a Despia monster, then set a branded spell next turn, or on your next turn. Right now, 1 branded opening. I have 2 more on the way of this. Best starter in the deck, honestly. You could also use Spring Kit for cost with this as well, if you really want to get the Despia out of your deck. Most likely it's going to be Aluber, but obviously you can go for the Tragedy as well. Or, in some cases, you could really go for Ad Libitum, although you could probably use that more effectively in the deck. Sometimes it's just nice to have it in the hand. So that's all for the stars right now. Again, this is going to be a 3 of by the finished build of the deck. Then for the main draw power and search engines of the deck, we play 2 Mercourier. Mercourier is honestly actually pretty good. It's a hand trap if you have a fusion monster on the field. If it's banished, is it specifically if it's banished? It's specifically if it's banished. You can add a Fallen of Albazar monster that lists it from your deck to your hand, right? Is it? Yeah, it's from the deck. So that's honestly really nice. You have the 1 Albion, which is always nice. You play Branded Sword in this build, and the way that I play it, so Albion is honestly just good as a 1-of. You can search it off Mercourier to have Albion to send back to the deck, bottom of the deck, pitch sword to the graveyard, and then you have another draw. In addition to the search for courier, there's a neat combo that I learned from a friend of mine that I will go into at the end of the video. And for now, going on, next we play 3 allures. Allures are just, they're so good, man. Almost everything you play in this deck is dark. There's only one monster, the Scythe, that I think it's only the one Scythe that you play that is light. We all know what allure does. Draw 2, banish a dark, or pitch your entire hand. Most of the time, it's honestly, if you don't have that play in your hand, it is so worth it to go into the Allure of Darkness. Gold Sark is another good way to get Mercourier into the Banished. Just sack it with Gold Sark, get the search off of Mercourier, and that's another good way if you don't have the Allure of Darkness. Yeah, so that's honestly an alternate way to go into that combo for just a lot of draw power. So next we play Branded Lost. It's summon protection, it's effect protection and summon protection for fusion summoning, and then you also get a search for Fawn of Albaz, or monster that specifies it if you fusion summon with this card on the field. And then Branded Sword, obviously, you know, you can use it to banish any branded fusion monster, or not fusion monsters, branded spells or traps to get some tokens on the field. Honestly, I have won games with Branded Sword before. Just getting, let's say a couple of branded fusions and a branded in red and a branded opening that you've already used in the graveyard. Just banish it, get those tokens. Mainly, you want to banish this card itself in order to get the Mercourier back. Next is just really your main, I guess, power in the deck. Really helps you get bodies on board. Fawn of Albaz. Obviously, super poly effect, discard a card when it's normal or special summoned. Fusion summon using itself and a monster that's not on your field. Next we play the one Adlib. Adlib is just nice sometimes to get. I have used its effect before to get the attack boost, but mostly you want to use it as materials for fusion summon for that second effect to get a Despia or fusion monster that's level 8 or higher. Which, spoiler alert, we play all level 8 fusion monsters in this deck. So use that to get another body on board. And then this is really just ways to fusion summon in the deck. So let me get those out of the way. Despia, the area the branded. Honestly, I might cut it for another branded in red because I have another one coming. Yeah. It's nice sometimes. It lets you fusion summon during your main phase, and then you can target yeah. Okay, so if a non-fusion fairy monster leaves the field, so one of your main deck Despia monster, you can special summon a level 8 or higher fusion from your graveyard. Again, it's nice, but also I would rather cut it for another branded in red, but honestly, I don't know, it could stay. I don't know. Speaking of branded in red, there it is. So obviously, recycle a Despia monster or Fawn of Albaz from the graveyard, then you can fusion summon any level 8 or higher fusion monster using cards from your hand or field. This is really good if you're just in the battle phase and you need something to kind of just push for game. If you have some, or if it's your opponent's turn and you just don't really have anything to protect yourself, it's pretty good to use in those situations. But you can I've also used it pretty well. You could also use it during your opponent's main phase for Claritas to use that effect. Yeah, but here's the bread and butter of the deck. This is your bread and butter right here. 3 branded fusion. You always run 3. Always run 3 of this. Just the pure fact that it lets you use cards from the deck gets you into Scythe Lock so easily. Or if you had Snow, rest in peace, Snow. If this was pre-ban list, I would be playing Snow if I had access to it, but I didn't, luckily, before this. So I'm not messing around with the version that's not going to be viable anymore. Just really good. So good. Next, you play the 2 Edgem Chain. Honestly, let's just go ahead and get all of it out here. The 2 Frankfurt Patchworks. And the 2 Polys. These babies right here are so good. Just sit there and use it to get just another fusion on board. Search out the Polys. It's just so good. So good. Then for your main power, I guess, you play 3 Ash, 1 called by, 3 Imperms, 3 Imperms, a Scythe, and 3 back to the front. So all of these right here you use as cards to really just mess with your opponent's head. Most of these, I would say all of you know pretty much all of these. Obviously, Ash to negate a search or dump or a special summon, called by the grave to stop an Ash, DD Crow, Effect Veiler, Ghost Bell, you name it, we got it to stop it. Infinite Imperm, stop monster effects, and if it's set, it can stop all effects in that column. And then the Scythe Lock. Usually you use this for Albion, and then you set back to the front, turn 1, turn 2, your opponent goes into main phase, flip that. Yeah, so that's really all for the main deck. I might go back into it in a second for combos, but right now, yeah. So now for the extra deck. Well, a couple wonky choices, I would say, but nothing really too crazy. Play the 2 Mirror Jade, which is Mirror Jade is just a beast. You can stop your opponent's plays, and then if your opponent stops it, destroys it, your opponent's board is just broken at the end of the turn. Then you have the 2 Albion to go into that. So realistically, if you wanted to, you could sit there and use Albion twice to go into it. If you have Scythe on field, it's just, it's just so good. Then we have the Lubellion the 1 Lubellion as an alternate way to get into Mirror Jade. Or our final Fallen of Albaz fusion, the one Titaniclad. Titaniclad can help you push for game. Especially this with Claritas. It just, you have power on board. This, Claritas, and Dragos Despia. You use those, and you just have, you have, maybe not fully have game, but you have almost game on board right then and there. So yeah, then we play the one Claritas and the 2 Tax Dragon, double Tax Dragon, fucking crazy. 1200 for every effect your opponent uses. I've sat there and, like, one opponent's turn has gone for 7200 just off of Tax Dragon, double Tax Dragon's effect. Like, it's so good. It's so funny. And then it went to 7,800 because he got 1 off the field. But he was at 200 by the end of that. Fucking insanity. Then finally, as our kind of super poly targets for Fallen of Albaz, we have the 1 Starving Venom and the 1 Dragos Despia. Starving Venom can just help you, again, push for game sometimes. To beat over monsters. Like, a lot of the time, it can help you beat over Zeraboros, which Dragos Despia can also help get rid of off the field. They're just both, not get off the field, but negate its effect. Basically get it off the field. They're just fucking amazing. So good, man. So good. And then, moving on to our Xyz monsters, because we do play Xyz in this build. We play a Redoer and a Hope Harbinger. Sorry, all the cards got mixed in there. Both of these are just alternate plays to go into if your board is bricked. If somebody has a D-barrier and you were locked out of fusions, you just have dead mats on the field. Or somebody, just, you know, you get your level 8 fusion monsters out on the field. They're just dead. They're just dead bodies on the field. And you can't go into anything else. So then you get the Redoer and the Hope Harbinger. Redoer is good. If you don't know what this guy does, I would hope you do. But he can take the top card off your opponent's deck. If it's a monster, he can banish himself. Spell is... Okay, yeah. Spell is draw a card and then place a... Okay. So, spell, draw a card, trap, basically just put a card on the field to put a card on the field on top of the deck for its effect. Hope Harbinger can negate a spell card and attach it as material. And then yeah. So it can negate spell cards, it can get it can change attack target to itself. And then it can buff up an Xyz monster if another one's destroyed. Yeah. Then we have, for our Link monsters, we have Dark and Zeraboros. Dark is really good for the mirror match. Or if you really just want to steal a low defense Dark monster for a game, because sometimes just getting that body on your field can a lot of these other choices are built to help you get over boards and push your game. Such as Zeraboros. It really just limits your opponent's plays for monsters. They basically only have 3 free zones, but they technically do still have the 5 if they normal summon, but they can't special summon more than 3 monsters unless they're planning to use some of those monsters as materials. So it's not, it's not game breaking or anything. It's just you have to learn to play around it, or else you're screwed. And you can even use it to your advantage too. If your opponent has a good board that they've managed to sit there and play around Zeraboros, just special summon like a kit or something. And not only is your opponent's board broken, but then I'm pretty sure it next standby phase, it's resummoned. So now you have a beefed up Zeraboros, with basically an open field, and it's so good. I don't know. It's so good, man. As long as you can make it. And like I said, sometimes you just have dead boards and you can't go into fusions. You get debarriered. And that's what some of those choices are for. So now going into the side. Play 3 Dark Roar. Just another good way to get monster effects out of the basically out of your way. Now you do lose the ability to kind of go for game because your opponent can't be damaged, but at the same time it can help you set up your board. A lot of you obviously know that, but just, Twin Twisters is good against stuff like Rika, or I have a feeling that Sky Strikers might honestly get a little boost pretty soon, just from the stuff in Magnificent Mavens, so this could be good too, for that matchup, if they do come back into meta. Let's see here. There's some others. Stuff like tier limits with Paralino. Paralino. I don't know. Blah. Just any spell and trap based deck. Adventure stuff as well. The adventure engine is kind of fucked over by this as well. Yeah. So just, yeah. D-barrier. Let me get it here. 3D barrier. D-barrier is just good in the game state nowadays. Obviously, if you're playing against stuff like Flanderies, you're kind of fucked. There's no reason to do this. They only really have an extra deck if they are using Extrav. But otherwise, D-barrier is just good. Also stuff like Sprites, when it was good. I think it could still be good. I think you could maybe still make a version of it, but the ban list kind of fucked this one over too, I would say. But D-barrier is still just a fucking great card. 3 Solemn Strike, if I can get the cards. I'm sorry for the glare, my lord. There we go, okay. Solemn Strike, you know, just pay 15 negate a summon or monster effect. Is it just monster effect? Yeah, just monster effect. I think it's Solemn Judgment that you pay half to negate anything, right? I think so. I would say so. I'll have to look again, but I think so. Just, yeah, with how monster effect heavy the game is nowadays, it's fucking good. Play 3, there can be only one. Stuff like sprites, kind of play around this because they can make more than one type, but stuff like tears or let's say flunders, obviously dinos, stuff like that are just a lot of monotype decks are just fucked over by this. Sorry, I'm rambling. I do that a lot. Most of y'all know this stuff, but yeah. Red Reboot is good for... Red Reboot got banned, actually. Oh my. Okay. Red Reboot is a to-be-determined card, actually, now I think about it, because Red Reboot got banned. I completely forgot about that. It got hit today. Red Reboot got banned. So yeah, ignore the Red Reboot. I completely forgot that Red Reboot was banned today. So yeah, and now just going a little bit into the combo I was talking about earlier. Let's see here. Let me get the stuff out for it. Where's the branded sword? So let's see here. So for the combo, really what you do is, let's say, or actually, let's see here. And then the branded sword will be in the deck. So, gosh. Okay. So, you Lure of Darkness, draw 2. Using a courier effect to get Albion effect to pitch branded sword. I'm sorry for these angles, by the way. I'm using my phone and a little pistol hold thing. So do that. Branded sword. Albion. Put Albion on the bottom of the deck. Get the draw. Branded sword. To add Mercurier back to hand. And then you do another Lure of Darkness, drawing 2, and banishing Mercurier. So now you should have, first turn, 6 cards in hand. So now, it's honestly just, oh yeah, I forgot, I didn't even shuffle, so I would have to shuffle just to show that, but yeah. Sorry, I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of nervous. I haven't filmed in a long time, so bear with me. So yeah, that is my branded Despia deck profile. That is to be changed, obviously, this, and then I'm thinking I'm going to go up to 44 cards. And then have two branded in red instead of a branded in red in Despia Theater. And have the 3 branded openings. So, thank you guys. This has been the Branded Director, signing off. Bye, guys.